Speaking of buttercream fans, today we're making macarons because you guys requested it. So let's take a break and bake. The ingredients you need are 236 grams of sugar plus 2 tablespoons of sugar, 212 grams of almond flour, 212 grams of powdered sugar, 172 grams of egg whites, and 158 grams of water. For decoration you need buttercream frosting and blue powdered or gel food coloring. This video is all in grams pretty much, and that's because when you're making macarons, you really want to be as precise as possible, and so that's why we're using grams. Now you can use cups and things like that, but I really recommend if you want to follow this recipe, use the grams because grams are so much easier to use when you're making macarons to make them perfect. Let's go ahead and get started making these macarons. In a food processor, add your almond flour and your powdered sugar, and you're going to pulse that a couple times until it has a nice fine consistency. And then after that's all nice and fine, you're going to go ahead and sift it into another bowl because you want to make sure that it has no lumps of dry ingredients at all. You want this to be as smooth and as fine as possible. So now what you're going to do, you're going to take your egg whites and put them in the microwave at medium heat for 5 to 7 seconds. And then what you're going to do, you're going to go ahead and mix them up and put them back in the microwave for 5 to 7 seconds. Mix them up. Basically just repeat this process until they've been in the microwave for the total of about 40 seconds. After they've been in the microwave for about 40 seconds, go ahead and measure out 90 grams of these egg whites and put that into a grease-free stand mixer bowl. And then take the remainder of the 82 grams of egg whites and put them into the dry ingredients and fold those all together until it makes a thick paste. Now set that to the side. Now in a small sauce pot on the stove, go ahead and add in your sugar, but take out that 2 tablespoons that you added in earlier and set that to a side. You won't need that for this. And then add in your water, and you're gonna let this dissolve at medium heat while stirring constantly. And then once the sugar's all dissolved, you're gonna wanna bring this mixture to a boil. And then after that, go ahead and bring the heat back down to medium and just let it cook and just let it cook there until it reaches 235 degrees Fahrenheit through 240 degrees Fahrenheit. Once it's in that range, go ahead and start whipping up those 90 grams of egg whites that we saved earlier in our stand mixer. You're gonna want this to whip up, and then once it gets frothy, go ahead and add in those 2 tablespoons of sugar and let that continue to whip. Now once your mixture on the stove reaches 248 degrees, you're gonna slowly pour that into your egg white mixture, making sure for it not to touch the sides of the bowl or the whisk. You just want it to go right directly in because you don't want the mixture to be splattered all over of the sides of the bowl. You want it to be incorporated with the egg whites. After you've poured your sugar syrup mixture into the egg whites, you want that to whip up for about 8 to 10 minutes. But around the last minute of it whipping, you're gonna go ahead and add in your food coloring. I'm using powdered coloring. You can also use gel, but do not use liquid. It will ruin your macaroons. But so after those 8 to 10 minutes of whipping, you should have a stiff peak, but the peak kind of bends just a little bit. It shouldn't be super stiff, but it should still be a little stiff. And then you're gonna go ahead and add that mixture into your almond egg mixture. You're gonna add it in a third at a time, just mixing. After you've added your last third into the almond mixture, you're gonna go ahead and mix until it has the figure 8 test. What that means is you can pick up some of the batter on your spatula and you can go around the bowl, and it should be able to make a figure 8 and not break at any of the parts. It should just be a perfect figure 8 as you can see here in the video. So yeah, you want it to do that. So once it's able to be able to make that figure 8, go ahead and put it in a piping bag, and then you're gonna take 2 15 by 21 trays and pipe on your macaroons onto parchment paper. After you fill those trays, you're gonna put these into the oven. But the oven has to be preheated to 350, but whenever you put the macarons into the oven, you want to turn the heat down to 325. These are gonna bake for about 10 to 12 minutes depending on your oven. And whenever those are all done, you're gonna let those sit aside and cool. So after your cookies are all cooled, you're gonna go ahead and take some of your frosting and pipe it onto a bottom half of one of the cookies and then sandwich it with another macaron And then there you go. You have your perfect macarons, and they taste so good, and they look so good as well. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video of baking and buttercream. I hope you enjoyed watching me make these delicious macarons. So if you did, click on one of these two videos right here. The top one YouTube recommends, I recommend this bottom one, and click the baking and buttercream icon over here to subscribe to my channel. Alright guys, don't forget to comment down below, like this video, and share it with all your friends. And thank you for requesting these delicious cookies.